In Brawl Stars, understanding how to draft is vital for any team's success. Choosing the right picks and bans in East Asia's $35,000 monthly finals was the difference between getting a free trip to Dallas or watching from home on the sidelines. This month, 4 teams had that opportunity, but one of them seized it in dominant fashion. If you've followed Brawl Stars Esports in the past, you're probably familiar with Crazy Raccoon, who placed second at the World Finals in 2024. In the offseason, CR made a spicy roster change where 2021 World Champion Sitetampo was swapped with Milcreo, who was on the second best team from APAC the previous season. Tensai played with them in the 2021 World Championship, and Moya achieved a semi-finals and second place with both of them in 2023 and 2024 respectively. Sitetampo was on his own and joined ZETA Division with Levi and Suzuku, who have been great in East Asia but have never advanced past the LCQ stage. To take the lead in this region with a new unit and group that had never even made the World Finals would be quite the accomplishment. To do it without dropping a set would be even crazier. East Asia had 4 teams in the race for the Brawl Cup. Month 1 winners Crazy Raccoon, Month 2 winners ZETA Division, 2-time second place Reject, and number 4 seed NAVI were all aiming to win the Grand Finals in order to book a ticket to the Brawl Cup in Dallas, a mid-season tournament where 8 of the best teams in the world will compete. East Asia only had 1 spot, so winning the tournament guaranteed a place in the Brawl Cup. ZETA played Niwa first, where they were sizable favorites to win. Predictably, ZETA took care of business and beat Niwa 3-0, but their next match would be far more difficult. In order to have a chance at the Brawl Cup, ZETA Division would have to play Crazy Raccoon, a familiar foe and very personal match for Sitetampo against his previous teammates. The winner of this match would go on to the Brawl Cup and take a lead in the standings, making it the most important match yet in 2025 for East Asia. ZETA Division set the tone on map 1 with a great draft. Ollie as a first pick is a good choice. Despite his nerfs, he is still super frustrating to deal with. There aren't too many hard counters into him, but CR select Buster. Buster can handle Ollie pretty well. He also reflects shots that Ollie can send their way, incoming projectiles, and most importantly in Knockout can charge his super passively, which is such a big asset, especially when you only get 1 life per mode. Overall, he's one of the better brawlers for this map and this game mode. Gus was CR's second pick, which is dependable, has range, and can power up allies with his shield. To respond, ZETA draft Bell, which is a great brawler in the meta, has a very high win rate, and also prevents the enemy team from clustering together, especially since it's such a passive strategy. At pick 5, Hank seems a little crazy off first glance, but he's actually the most played brawler currently at a professional level. Hank can work the walls and get free tags on enemies, similar to what a thrower can do, but he has way more HP. In in-games, he can get his super, heal himself, deal lethal damage up close, and overall win you some big time moments. As a bonus as well, into Buster, his regular shot actually goes through the shield, so you can just kind of pop a bubble and go around that. This is a really hard composition for ZETA Division, and CR are going to struggle to deal with this. Even while reviewing this match, I really struggled to find the perfect solution for CR here at pick 6. My best idea was picking Daryl, so you had a shotgun brawler into the enemy side, and you also had somebody who could charge their super passively, wait for those in-games, have plenty of mobility, and dish out some much needed damage. So I sought some insight from a professional player in Team Heretics Drage and asked him what he would have done in this situation. Even he said the 6th pick was a tough one, but also mentioned that Daryl, Ash, and maybe a Chester would have been the best solution to try and win the set. Overall, he felt like it was a pretty difficult draft to win at this point, which is credit to ZETA Division, who just seemed to step ahead on the map. Instead, Crazy Raccoon selected Frank, which is pretty wild for the map. I didn't understand the logic behind the pick, but Drage mentioned that in a vacuum, Frank is good into Ollie and Hank. However, Frank stinks at this map. The walls give Hank a ton of value and make it really hard for Frank to charge his super and not feed it to the other team. CR would have had to pop off with Frank and destroy a ton of walls to win this. The great draft from ZETA Division stumped CR, and they fell like flies in a flawless set for ZETA Division. The next map is Dueling Beetles, and ZETA Division have first pick again. They went with Hank, which is not weird for the current meta, especially with B and Lou in the ban stage. CR responded with Chester, a great brawler right now, and Charlie, which is more unique to East Asia. I saw Charlie a ton in scrims leading up to the East Asia monthly finals. In other regions, she is mainly just a pit stop brawler, but in East Asia, they felt her balance change was enough to bring her up in the meta. However, after the East Asia and EMEA monthly finals, I'm not really sold on her, especially with only a 33% win rate. On the 4-5 turn, ZETA Division made some more fantastic selections. First, they took Meeple, who I'm a big fan of in this current meta. Not only can his Cube Castle gadget prevent enemies from stepping onto the hot zone and getting the objective, it also helps Hank out. The more walls that are on the map, the easier it is for Hank to get those free tags. Next, they drafted Barley, and I love that they grab a thrower on this map, especially in this position. The other end so far has drafted Chester and Charlie, so there is no wall break on the map, and the only thing that could stop them is maybe a little RNG from a Chester super. CR are facing another great draft, and with their final selection, go with Ollie, who I really like in a one-on-one matchup against somebody like Meeple and Barley, who are a little squishier, and if they get hypnotized, can lead to kills. Unfortunately for CR, ZETA Division had a game plan against the Ollie. ZETA addressed Ollie immediately. They dropped the Meeple gadget, rained down easy tags, and eliminated him before he became a problem. This allowed them to take over the map, and now they had control over the CR walls without any way of CR retaking them outside of a pop-off kill or an ollie gadget. CR just couldn't hang with Zeta's comp.
It really is neck and neck, 81% to Crazy Raccoon and 78% in climbing for the ZETA Division as well. Big area splash. ZETA getting their feet really stuck in firmly. And what can Milk Rio do in a position of like 1 versus 3 there? Nothing at all. ZETA will get another one on the board, and it's looking bleak.
The third map of the match was Triple Dribble, where I believe Crazy Raccoon had their best draft yet. This one feels much more even to me, so ZETA Division will have to rely on their mechanics to move on to the grand finals and secure a ticket to the Brawl Cup.
Good healthy push forwards for CR. A speed zone for Tensai is going to be dancing around it, and low HP for Suzuku now. Sitetampo comes in with the Dragon's Breath, gets a takedown as well. The left hand side is fully open, but the ball pushed down to the wall. Now Suzuku super passes it there to the B, and it should be in. It is going to be so. ZETA Division get the match that fruits the grand finals, but most importantly, secure themselves their tickets for the Brawl Cup.
ZETA Division took down a 2-time world champion to book their trip to Dallas. While they had a lot to celebrate, the job wasn't done yet. ZETA still had the opportunity to get $12,000 for first place and lock in more points for the world finals with another win. ZETA's grand final opponent was NAVI, the number 4 seed in the region who had upset Reject, the number 1 seed, with a reverse sweep. The first map is out in the open. Jumping in, ZETA Division draft Brock, Bell, and Gus, who are all long-range brawlers and good on the map, but I do think it puts them in a vulnerable spot. NAVI had a solid build so far. They drafted Gene, who's one of the best brawlers on Knockout due to the magic hand, the spammable gadget, the poke damage, the visibility you get, and oftentimes is really good into sharpshooters. To me, there's a 6th pick that stands out, and that's going to be Nani. Nani is not the best brawler on pro tier list, but she is a sharpshooter that counters sharpshooters with return to gadget, lethal damage, and a peep to either open up your own wall or grab cross-map kills. Instead, NAVI select Gray, which is a great brawler in the meta, but I don't love it in this spot. They selected the Grand Piano gadget for Gray because they want to break their own walls, which is respectable, but Gray is outranged by the sharpshooters, and by selecting Grand Piano, they're taking away a major asset of Gray's right now, which is the Walking Cane gadget. NAVI don't punish ZETA enough for the triple ranged brawlers, and now they have to fight an uphill battle.
Great taps from Sitetampo on this right-hand side. A really good rotation for him to make. The gadget comes out of Suzuki with that rocket fuel and just makes a connection with the Sharpie, but it'll be nice and healed up before that happens. TP comes in. Should be a trade here if Gus can get this one, and he does. Sitetampo looking for the killing blow. Good shield, but somehow turns around and gets the tap on someone else. I thought he was going to be spamming auto-aim, but he might be able to win this one, and does. Brilliant from Sitetampo. Ryohei solo marked up on the left-hand side as well, and a shield is available for Levi. I'm obviously just going to try hold it for the later seconds, try use it in a similar fashion to last time, but a Sharpie goes down without even using that TP.
Oh, and now the hypercharge raining in. Kuru diving forward. Nowhere to walk, nowhere to run. ZETA Division showing off the mechanics here in our first set. ZETA won set 1 in convincing fashion, but despite having what I believe is the better draft in set 2, NAVI would put up quite the fight and make ZETA sweat for a win. 15 on the clock, and NAVI have to get this lead. It's so close right now. The ice rink goes down. A Choppy pops a super just to stay up. Suzuku, hypercharge. A Choppy Ryohei holding on. It's 1% being the separator, and Kuru finally forced away. ZETA Division close out at 100 in the final seconds.
Levi needs to find some taps onto Kura and then manage to get the pinch onto a Sharpie, but Sitetampo will go for it himself. Sharpie not finding the connection there. Now, even in percentage, 86-86 in the Sharpie getting pinched. Heal comes through Ryohei and the mark is missed. Suzuki drag back. Slow-mo replay will get the kill. 93-90 as the Sharpie goes in. Freeze from Sitetampo though, and 2 of them still live. Kuru moving in, but he'll go down as well. And 99-100 as ZETA take the set.
ZETA's mechanics pulled through, and now they were 1 set away from locking in a tournament win. But set 3 was the most interesting draft of the day. Here's how it started. Hank first has become a norm, and ZETA went with the common strategy in Pro Brawl Stars, where on the 2-3 turn, you take a tank with a great tank counter. With B banned and Chester now selected for ZETA Division, NAVI have few anti-tank options to respond with. They still try though. NAVI end up selecting Charlie, but again, I'm not a fan of the pick. With this, they drafted Shade, who was a hero in last month's East Asia Monthly Finals, but for me, when I see this for ZETA Division, there are alarm bells ringing in my head of who they should draft. Option 1 would have been Hank, who was one of the better ways to deal with him last month, but since Hank was in the ban stage so frequently, it wasn't a choice for teams. Reason for this is Hank has so much HP, so Shade can't take him down quickly even if he's cycling in supers, and Hank's regular shot's one of the few things that can actually pierce through a wall or on the other side of a wall if Shade's trying to passively charge a super. Of course, they can't go with option 1 due to the draft, so option 2 is where we go next. Option 2 for me in this spot is Jacky, not only for the map and the mode, but also because of Shade. Like Hank, Jacky has plenty of HP, can shoot through the walls, and punishes Shade for trying to passively charge a super. An added benefit with Jacky too is that you have her super sniper, which in Brawl Ball, if you get a nasty pullback on the enemy side goal, Jacky gets a free shot at the net. This crazy draft actually shaped up so well for ZETA Division. Off the rip, NAVI made a huge mistake and ZETA got a free goal. As the set progressed, Jacky shadowed the shade the whole time and made NAVI's lives difficult on Super Beach.
So low, Suzuki powering through a Chape, having to use Hypercharge now to try to stay in the mix. Sitetampo should be waiting for this pass, but he goes for the goal anyway. Levi ignores the pass and the run from Sitetampo and puts them on match point.
And Suzuki once again winning his lane. 3v2, now down to 2v2 with Choppy, low HP, and Sitetampo has a super available. He's gonna be looking for the pull, and it's just enough. He punches it through. 3 straight buckets for ZETA.
And Achape doesn't want to go it alone. Suzuki will go for this now, and Achape pretty low. Super available for Levi, and this is something that Suzuki should win and does with his Hypercharge. Now moving on to Kuro, should be able to pass this one straight through, and that's going to be everyone going down. 1 goal is all ZETA needed, and they get it. And they're the multi-final champions for April.
In the most important monthly finals of the year, ZETA Division swept the entire region while only dropping 1 game in 3 matches. It's clear their mechanics are there, but they are without a doubt the best drafters in East Asia right now. I can't wait to see how this team handles the rest of the world at the Brawl Cup. Thanks for watching, and if you made it this far in the video, I would really appreciate if you all dropped a like on it to let me know this is the kind of content you guys want to see. Let me know what you think about ZETA Division's incredible run this month, and with that said, we'll see you all in the next one.